Hello, mystery fans. My name's Brian. This is Casper, the star of the show. How we doing today, sir? You gonna fly away? You can stay right here. All right. Today I'm doing the seriously well read tag. I was tagged by Stuart over at Stuart Griffin, and this is an original tag by Randy. I will link both those channels in the description box down below. There are 10 questions in total. 11, 10 questions, 11, the prompt being to tag other people. So, question number 1. What book made you take reading seriously? This book would be Hatchet by Gary Paulson. I don't know where my current copy is at. Somebody found a new toy to play with. And this book was read to me. This is the first book in the fifth grade that my teacher, Mr. Dixon, read to us. And he would read to us in the morning, usually, after recess, after lunch. And after, if we got all our work done, he would give enough time for us to listen to more of the story. And he read quite a few books. I know I can remember them all, but this was the first book that he read to us. And this book, more or less, changed the viewing of me as a kid from reading kids' books, which I don't mean kids' books as in like, the Boxcar Kids or things like that. I mean like books that were picture books or, reading books for school, like in text, things like that. Changed my idea of just academic learning for books to enjoying books for the better. So that's going to be my answer for that question. Number 2, what book do you pretend to understand? Be honest. Moby Dick. It's just about a man with a vendetta against a whale. I know there's other things to it, but it's just a man who has a vendetta against a whale. That's all I want to say. Question number 3: which 3 books are you on a personal or on my personal required reading list? Well, one of these books is a series, and that is Stormfront by Jim Butcher. Not the best in this series by far, but certainly a great introduction to this world that Jim Butcher has created. And I'm a big believer in, if you're going to start with the series, start with the first book. And people have said things about the male gaze and other things that have, as Butcher writes. And yes, he writes from a male perspective. It just sometimes critiques of certain writing, it just irks me. But even so, this is a great introduction into the world, the urban fantasy that Butcher created. And anytime you get a detective who has wizard powers, that's a fantasy, from my love of Harry Potter to Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia. You get that fantasy world with my love of mystery, and you kind of intertwine it, and I'm going to fall in love with it almost immediately. So yes. The other book is more of a novella, and it's in this complete series, The Hound of Bakersville by Arthur Conan Doyle. Just a phenomenal Holmes mystery. And lastly, and then there were none, by Agatha Christie. I can't be a serious mystery lover without having Doyle and Agatha Christie at the top of my required reading list. Yeah. Question number 4. What's up, sir? The little toy. Did you destroy it? No, you didn't. Okay. Uh, what author have you been avoiding? Stephen King has been on my I don't want to deal with him. And sir, don't you start that.
What are you going to do about it?
You're going to give Miss Roxy all kinds of ideas. Just a personal pet peeve of mine with King. And I don't really like talking about it a whole lot. Just personal preferences. I just don't like his works that much anymore. I'm sorry. What's the hardest book you ever had to finish? That would be Night by Elie Wiesel. Just a gut-wrenching story of survival, a true story of survival of a boy in the Auschwitz concentration camp. It is just for me, it's a gut punch after a gut punch. I don't know if that's what the question was wanting to get at, but that's my answer. Question number 6. What's a book that changed how you read? And I'm going to have to leave this kind of blank because every book, I get all weepy, every book that I read changes the way I read every single time I finish it. Whether it's a 1-star or a 5-star. Were you being sassy today? And because it's just so hard to peg down just one book, because I could think of a couple, Les Miserables. That's one. It. I know I just talked about Stephen King not being on my high list, but that's still a book that changed the way I approach certain things. So yeah, it's just for me, it's just so hard to peg down to just one book. Somebody's getting into shenanigans again, sir. Question number 7. Quality versus quantity. Would you rather read 100 good books or 100 good books in a year or 10 great books? I would probably say just 10 great books. And Casper would have to agree. Okay. Question number 8. Which genre are you embarrassed to say you have not read? I don't embarrass easily. As far as that said, I mean, I like a lot of different genres and I read a variety of genres. But I would say I probably need to read more nonfiction, if anything. So I guess we'll just go with that. And question number 9, which book do you think most people misread? I would say Lord of the Flies by William Golding. We read this in, I believe it was 10th, 11th grade, maybe my senior year. And we kind of, get into what happens when society doesn't have its rules or its leaders, or the leaders don't, really rule with authority. You get chaos, and that's true. But I think at the heart of it's going into the idea of we're no better than the people born 2,000 years ago. We're still doing things that are atrocious, that are horrible, and that's I don't want to get theologically minded, but that's just the root of man's heart turning away from God and seeking to rule and want to be in charge of thine own self. So the dark heart of man, I guess, is the real meaning behind that book. As we get cheerful music from Casper. Uh, so, question number 10 is, what does seriously well read mean to you? And to me, that just means that you read books outside of the uh, academic requirement. So if you read one book a year because you like the Jim Butcher series or the Nora Roberts, or insert your favorite author here who releases one book a year, then you're well read because you're reading outside of the academic setting. But that's just gets too much into that world. Anyways, and lastly, tag other people. I'm going to leave this an open-ended tag. If you kind of enjoyed the questions, not necessarily answers to this tag, then please pick it up. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great